The truth is everybody's cup of tea. And at the Unfiltered Teapodcast, we bring you the unbridled truth coming out of the mouth of seasoned professionals and industry experts. Today is a very wonderful day. Glad to be back on show on the second episode of the show. And today we have no other person than Honorable Jeremiah Umaru, who is the House of Representative member representing Akwanga, Nasarawa, Eggon, and Wamba Federal Constituency from Nasarawa State. He's a young, up-and-coming, and inspirational leader at the National Assembly, won several awards for most influential young politician on the floor, and also he doubles as the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Public Accounts. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So, today we're going to delve right into the issues at hand because it's going to be a very interactive and very informative session. So I suggest you stay tuned, grab a cup of tea while you listen. Sir, it's been a very, very long journey from you, from the public sector to the National Assembly. But before we go into that, we would like to know more about you. Just give us a brief history about yourself.
Okay, so I was born and brought up sometimes in the year 1983, October 23rd precisely, to the family of Mr. and Mrs. Umaru Phd from Wamba in Nasarawa State. I was born and brought up in Niger State, school, primary, secondary in Niger State, Army Barrack. I'm a confirmed Barrack boy. And afterwards, I went to ABU to get my first degree in accounting. And afterwards, I did NYSC in Abuja, National Examinations Council. I was retained and sent back to Mina, the headquarters of NECO, where I worked for 3 years. I got transferred to Lafia. I worked for 2 years, and I went back to Pencom, where I worked for 10 years, and I resigned to contest election. And of course, in between, I had my master's degree, my PhD, my ICANN, and so on and so forth. And to the glory of God, I'm here today.
Wow. This makes you an erudite scholar. That's very nice. I never knew. So how was it? What inspired you to leave the public sector and try to represent your people?
Okay, so it's a very interesting question. When I put on my resignation in Pencom and I told them I'm leaving, and they were like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." Because I saw the need, I saw a gap in my federal constituency in my state. And I feel it's high time for me to go and be part of the system, the political system, because over time, the good guys have refused to participate in politics. We have left the scene for those who do not even know what they're doing. And that's why politics today, people are seeing it as one negative. It's not. And they're seeing it as it's for the bad people. It's not. Politics, for me, I feel is a way to come and serve your people. Service to humanity. For me, part of my slogan is to serve God through humanity. And for me, part of the reasons why I venture into politics is to serve God through humanity. Serving my people is been part of me for over 10 years. Before joining politics, I've been engaging in community. I was doing it. I never knew I was in politics. I never liked politics, because of the so many impressions, so many things they say about politics. But when I sat down and I asked myself certain questions: for how long are we going to continue to murmur on the media, social media, and the rest? We need to be active. I went back home. When I saw the need, I went back home. From my ward level, community level, I told them, look, let's come together. Let's begin to see how we can cause a change, a true change, real change in our society. And we started. We started as a community youth organization. We started attracting development to our people. And along the line afterwards, when the politics came, and when I told my family, my wife, that, look, I'm going to contest election, she was just laughing. She said, do you know what you're doing? I said, I'm going to contest. And I started the movement. The young people believe so much in me because over about 12 people that contested the election that time, I think I was the youngest. In fact, the one without money. But I had this thing going in me that, look, as far as I'm here, because I'm here to cause a change, we're going to make it. I came up with a blueprint, a very fantastic blueprint to tackle most of the issues that is affecting our people. And today, to the glory of God, our people saw the need. Yes, this guy has a very good blueprint, looking at where I'm coming from and the things I've done in my private capacity, in my private life, or while I was in the civil service. They saw all that I've done within the community and for the young people. They said, let's try this guy. And today, to the glory of God, I'm here. And I tell you, whenever you see anybody from my federal constituency, in fact, from my state, ask them, who is JJ? What has he done? They will tell you, in the history of that zone, the federal constituency, they've never had it this good. And for me, we're 1 year and 8 months today. For me, we have just started. Well, we haven't done anything yet, as far as I'm concerned. And God is helping us. So many things we have achieved, and more are coming for our people. As of today, we have 35 electoral wards in my federal constituency. I want to guarantee you 30 to 34 of the electoral ward have gotten the impact of JJ as of today. Massive impact.
Wow. It's very impressive. To think that you transitioned from a good government job, because most youths will just be comfortable, they don't come out of their comfort zone. Yeah. They understand, because the security of steady salary every month. They understand, you took the risk to go into politics, because it was a 50-50 thing. You could win, you could lose, and you had already quit your job. So that speaks a lot to your desire to want to bring change to your people. Now, speaking about change, as one of the youngest members on the floor of the house, where you got it, I mean, most people come into the house and there's that saying of, if you are just a first timer, you don't get good committees, So how were you able to break into the ranks as a first timer, and you are the deputy chairman of the second most influential and powerful committee on the floor of the house? That's the House Committee on Public Accounts. So how were you able to navigate your way through all that? Do you have godfathers in the house? How did you do that, sir?
Okay. So when we came in, and I'm happy you asked this question. Most people, when they enter National Assembly or any of this political space for the first time, they tend not to understand the system. But what helped, first and foremost, what helped me, was the fact that we came up with a group, during the struggle of the speakership. We came up with a group, the New Dawn. And in this New Dawn, I was very, very active in the group. I was the secretary of the group. We had the former speaker of Edo as the leader of the group. And we had members, cut across all federal constituencies across the nation, Nigeria. We came together with a very good understanding, and we supported the present speaker. And when we supported him, of course, in the running of the National Assembly, the speaker, first and foremost, will consider the people that supported him, before any other person. But in this my case, yes, I'm the deputy chairman of public account. Yes, I supported the speaker. But I think what actually gave me that position more was because I am actually a professional accountant. I'm not just an accountant. I'm a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So, of course, and having worked with National Pension Commission and the rest, I have, considered by the leadership of the House, I have what it takes to be in that kind of committee, even as a first-timer. I know first-timers don't really get this kind of committee. But, like I said, because of the support and the background, educational qualifications that I had. So that actually gave me this position. And I will tell you, so far, so good. In public account, I'm doing very well. I can tell you that. And I'm happy because whenever we're engaging with agency, it's like the thing we learn in school is coming to play in reality.
Very good. So now it's almost like a round peg in a round hole. You can say that. So even the boot fits, you put it on.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that even in the legislature, such things are considered.
Yeah.
Your background, your profession, so that whatever capacity you find yourself in, you are not out of your depth.
Yeah.
So now let's narrow it down to your committee functions. Now, as a trained and a seasoned accountant, that not only is a member of the highest accounting body in Nigeria. You've also worked at PENCOM, a public service. How does that translate? How does that guide your oversight functions when all these MDAs are coming? I know your committee screens all the NDAs I know appropriation is to prepare the budget. Your public accounts, like the end of the budget, how the money was spent.
Yeah.
So now, 2 questions I'll ask you quickly. Do you think that the MDAs are utilizing the funds allocated to them properly?
Yeah.
In the time frame given in a budget year? Are they utilizing? What's the performance of the budget across these MDAs? Are there leakages? Or are they underfunded? Because given what we are seeing in Nigeria, the infrastructural deficits and all that, what do you have to say about it?
Okay, so for me, thank you very much again. While I was in PENCOM, I was engaged in the preparation of the books. I was engaged in the preparation of the budget. I was engaged even in the audit of the organization. So I understood how PENCOM, the system in PENCOM is almost a near perfect system. So I understood how a system ordinarily should run. And coming back to the National Assembly in Public Accounts, of course, whenever an agency or MDA come and they submit their book, I know what to look for, because I know where the issues will likely be. So for me, we have done so well as a committee because we appropriated this sum of monies in their budget. And I will tell you, some of these MDAs, when they prepare budget, they just put figures because they were given templates. But some actually do what we call planning. They plan for it, they have analysis, they have facts and figures, and whenever they are coming for budget defense, when they are defending a matter, you know that yes, they actually need it. But some, they will put a figure, and if you ask them, what is this meant for? They will just be looking at you and they will tell you that it's a template, give it to them. Oh, because you are giving template, then you decide to put figure. No, it's wrong. It's unacceptable. So, as a public accounts committee, all we've done over time is to see, first and foremost, because we work on the Auditor General's report. So if an MDA has queries to answer, of course, Auditor General will read the query before us and they will defend. They will ask them other questions, that will to back it up. And what we discover is the fact that these guys spend money without regards to financial regulations and other laws. And some of them even go to the extent of spending monies that are not budgeted for. Meaning because they have money, because they generate revenue, so they can decide to pick money from anywhere and put it anywhere. It is not acceptable. Before you spend a particular amount of money for training, for example, it has to be budgeted for. And where you have need for you, perhaps maybe the line for training is finished, and you have the need to be able to do environment, you need to come back to the National Assembly for approval. But most of the agencies don't do that. They just spend a few after all, we have the money, so let's spend it. No, in public accounts, it's unacceptable. So what we do is either we adopt and retain the recommendations of the Auditor General, or there are cases where we advise and guide the MDAs not to repeat such, so that some of them are actually ignorant. Some of them do not even know. In fact, even in terms of tax deductions and whatever statutory deductions to be remitted to the federal government, some of the MDAs don't do that. Some will deduct and they'll just keep it, per house to spend it. So we guide them accordingly. And so far, I can tell you, some MDAs are doing well, some are still struggling. And that's why we're there to guide them on what to do. And I can tell you, yes, for the budget cycle, some MDAs have gotten it right, while some still do not understand what the budget means. So our advice to these MDAs is for training, engagement, and so on, for them to be able to understand. And of course, sometimes the Committee on Appropriation also guide them on what to do. So far. Then on the issue of maybe underfunding and the rest, yes, we have had cases where MDAs have been underfunded. Not because it was they were underfunded just like that. Some of them actually, they will put money, but they don't even know what they want to do with the money. Or if you are submitting budget for 2025, for example, you have to bring the performance of 2024. Okay, you have bought vehicles in 2024. You are still putting vehicles again in 2025. The question is, do you have a policy on depreciation? Why vehicle? If you have vehicle cars in 2024, we do not intend to see. We don't want. You cannot put cars again in 2025 because you have them. So it is after maybe 4 years, based on the policy that you have on depreciation, before you then begin to talk about replacement of asset and the rest. So some of these MDs do not really understand. They feel, they are giving template from budget office, so they will fill in whatever they feel like. So at the level of budget engagement at the National Assembly, some of these things are cut down. But of course, there are some MDAs again that perhaps their budget is, for example, 10 billion. But looking at the nature of the organization and what they do, and based on their presentation, you see National Assembly increasing their budget because they need to be encouraged as well. So there are cases like that. And there are also cases that deliberately they get underfunded, not because they do not actually have what to do with it, but because they could not defend properly what those monies are meant for. Because at the end of the day, you see some MDs returning money, unspent monies. And you see some, of course, having deficit, shortfall, before the end of the year. What it's attributed to that is the fact that there is no proper planning, by the MDAs. No proper planning in terms of their budget and in terms of what they want to achieve, subsequently. And there is this MTEF, there is this medium-term framework that they usually submit to the National Assembly. I think they are not taking it seriously. Because if they are taking it seriously, that is supposed to give them a picture of what this MD want to achieve in the next 3 years. You understand? 3 to 5 years, as the case may be. So if they have done what they are supposed to do in that MTEF, they should not have any issue, because that capture what plan and income expenditure they are expecting and they are going to spend. So I will tell you, some agencies are doing well, while some are still lagging behind. So if they plan very well, I think we're going to achieve what is expected of most of these agencies. They are talking about MDAs. There are some MDAs that will report they generate trillions of naira, and in reality, it's not true. You see FIRS, for example, we put it on the media that they generate trillions of naira. Customs generate trillions of naira. The question is, why are we still having deficit? Why are we still borrowing? It's because, yes, they generate, but they don't transmit this into the government accounts properly, all of it. And that's the issue. So if they generate XYZ, that XYZ should be transmitted into the government account, consolidated government revenue fund. So if this money moves to government account, I am telling you, we will just borrow a little, or we might not even have a cost to borrow. So there are a lot of leakages within the system. And recently we are doing an investigation. The investigation is ongoing on revenue leakages using Remitter platform. And I can tell you, a lot has been uncovered from this investigation, and monies have been remitted back to the government. So imagine the ones that we've not been able to see or discover. So a lot of monies are just there wasting, people collecting revenues without actually transmitting these monies to the government coffers. So that's the issue.
So the problem is in the remittances.
Yes, there are a lot of
actually be generating that, but they are not
There are a lot of leakages in the system. Even the tax. Looking at even stamp duties alone. Looking at stamp duties, as I'm authoritatively, I'm telling you today that one sector, the oil sector, we have over 200 million USD unremitted. Just stamp duties alone. Imagine other sectors. Imagine other taxes. And thank God, the tax reform bill has actually addressed, because we have also discovered that the non-remittances, in some cases, is not their fault. It's the loophole in the law. And personally, I've actually pushed for amendment of Stamp Duties Act. And this has been addressed in the tax reform bill. So those are the issues, and those are the challenges we're facing.
So when you discover things like this, are they punitive measures that are put in place? Also, of recent, we've not heard anybody arraigned before a court or going to jail over this because government resources, government revenue is what is used to drive infrastructural development and build the nation and deliver on electoral promises. So when we have individuals in the public service filtering and pilfering these funds, whether be it intentionally, because they say in the law, ignorance is not bliss. So when you see people, when these monies are being filtered out, pilfered out, what are you get to find out? Are they punitive measures, like maybe sending them to EFCC for further investigation? Because I know the National Assembly under your committee is inhibited. You can only recommend. You can't actually. You are not the courts. So what has when you discover things like this? Are these steps that are further taken, or is it that the political class and the level people are they untouchable?
In the course of our engagement, there are cases where we refer to EFCC. There are cases where we refer to ICPC. There are cases where we do naming and shaming. There are cases where we put it in the media and chief executives and people who are culpable were sacked by of course, the president. And what we have done over time, because we feel it is not enough, just like you rightly said, our own is delay reports and submit report and, make some of the things recommendations. There is also what we are trying to do. We are trying to also get public accounts implementation tribunal. Yes, this tribunal will tackle all matters from the Public Accounts Committee. It will be referred to that tribunal. And this tribunal will deal strictly with matters that has to do with Public Accounts Committee. So whatever recommendations and resolutions reach will be sent to that tribunal. That tribunal will be sitting as a court of competent jurisdiction, but specialized for the public accounts to be able to tackle, yes, exactly, to be able to tackle some of these things. And I can tell you, the bill is on. We're pushing it, and by the grace of God, it will see the light of the day. We feel it is not proper, it is not right. The right things should be done, because if we're going to have these revenues remitted back to the government properly, accurately, my brother, we don't need to borrow anything. I'm telling you, we don't need to borrow. But like I said, the tax reform bill has addressed most of this. But of course, before it comes to reality, before it comes to be, exactly.
Now, you bring it coming to the tax reform bill. In the bill, I'll see you are in Northerner, and the bill faced stiff opposition and resistance from the northern part of the country, where we saw pockets of resistance from the southern part. So, as a Northerner, as a trained and seasoned accountant, and as one that is in the business of legislation, what are because they were giving the impression on public opinion, and on the Unfiltered Teapodcast there, we like to speak the facts of the matter, not opinions, we don't spread rumors. There was this belief that it was going to stunt the development of northern states based on I think allocations or so. But in dissecting the bill further, but the public hearings are ongoing. So what's from the city point of view, as an accountant, what are the benefits? Is that thing that they put out there, that story they're putting out there, that you're going to stunt development in the northern states, that's why northern governors are vehemently opposed to it? Is that true? Is there any iota of truth to that? What are the benefits of the bill? How is it going to drive development and bring investors? And how is it important for small, medium, and micro scale businesses? And also, who is to pay? As in, because I know there's a part of the bill that says if you earn above, I think, annual of 800,000 or 1 million, you are exempted if you earn below 800, you are exempted from it. So, but if you multiply the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira now by 12 months, you see that even those that are in that bracket are supposed to pay. So I know there will still be some amendments as they are doing public hearing, but please, I would like you to speak to the development part of it and what it entailed for northern states and for Nigerians in general.
Okay, so for me, one good thing that has happened to Nigeria is this tax reform bill, and I'll tell you why. in the course of my engagement, in the course of my presentation here, I mentioned the fact that we have a lot of revenue leakages in the system. The coming of the bill has actually addressed. Now, I've mentioned here that I sponsored a bill to amend the Stamp Duties Act because most companies, most organizations take advantage of the fact that there is a lacuna in the law and they are not paying that tax, that 1%. But it's been addressed.